great to see so many of you here today. I'm just giving a second for everybody to jump in and join us. I see that folks are joining right now. Welcome and bienvenue à tous. Nous sommes ravis de vous revoir si nombreux aujourd'hui. Welcome to CAO's annual meeting. This is one of our favorite events each year, and we love seeing all of you tuning in and engaging with us. That's why actually this year we've extended this webinar to be 90 minutes, the first 60 of which will be dedicated to highlighting our annual report and answering any of your questions. And then the last 30 minutes will be devoted to official business of the 2025 members meeting. You are welcome to stay and observe for either one or both of them. But before we start, let me begin with a short land acknowledgement, something that's even more timely as yesterday was National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. So we acknowledge that the land I'm broadcasting from today is on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Dish with One Spoon territory and Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. We invite you to visit the Whose Land website to learn more about this history and see how it applies to your area of the province, wherever you are joining from today. And you should be seeing that link showing up on your screen very soon, so you can check that out. The CAO respects the histories, languages, and cultures of all First Peoples, and we remain committed to working towards meaningful reconciliation. Thank you all very much for listening. Now on to today's agenda, and also a few house rules. So for those who don't know, the CAO is governed by an independent board of directors that is accountable to the minister through the board chair, Alison Scanlon. In a moment, we will hear directly from her, followed by a recorded message from our minister, the Honorable Stephen Crawford. Following that, members of our executive leadership team and our tribunal chair will take turns presenting on what they do. After each of their presentations, we will take short Q&A breaks where they will answer your questions about the information presented, condo living, or the CAO. We're looking forward to answering as many of your great questions as we can. We received almost 400 questions actually ahead of today's meeting. And as I can see, there's already about 500 people who have joined online right now, and it's only 9:01. So I'm sure we'll get lots more great questions. To that end, please feel welcome to use the Q&A function at the bottom of your Zoom window and type out any questions that you have for us. Since questions come hard and fast, we hope you will be patient with us as we try to keep up with the amount that we get. To help us out, we also have a few members of our team who in the background will be responding to these questions in the chat directly and in writing. Once they do that, those answers will be visible to all of you. Finally, for some reason unable to get to any of your questions today, at least thematically, please check back next week on our website and look for an update in our social media channels, because we will be releasing an FAQ based on questions we've gotten, along with a recording of this meeting. You can also, as always, send us messages on our social media channels, call us, or contact us. And all of that information was just put in the chat there for you to see. So to start things off, we'd like to first hear from you so we can learn more about you. You will see a poll pop up on your screen momentarily, and we're hoping you can fill it out, take a moment to fill that out, so we have a sense where you're joining us from and what your role is in your community. And I always love seeing these answers and getting a sense of who's here today. We often get lots of condo board directors, as you may imagine, but the answers are always surprising. Okay, so I'm seeing those answers roll in right now, which is really, really great. Lots of people from all over the province, which is lovely to see. Even we have 9 people right now from Northern Ontario, which is really awesome. Okay, some answers still rolling in, which is really, really great. Okay, we can, I think, end the poll and display the results. So yeah, as you can see, lots of condo board directors and a good number of folks joining from all over the province. Of course, lots from the GTA, as is to be expected, but great showing from all over, especially Eastern Ontario, which is really awesome to see. Now, I am wondering if these results surprise anybody, and I'm hoping you can share your thoughts in the chat as well. Okay, well, without further ado, let's get the show rolling with opening remarks from our board chair, Alison Scanlon, followed by a message from the Minister of Public and Business Service Delivery and Procurement, the Honorable Stephen Crawford. Over to you, Alison.
Thank you, Alex. Good morning, everyone, and thank you all for joining us. I'm Alison Scanlon, Chair of the Board of Directors, and we are pleased that so many of you have decided to join us today from across Ontario. We greatly value your participation as we continue the CAO's work to strengthen consumer protection in the condominium sector in our province. Your feedback helps shape our priorities, improve our services, and strengthen consumer protection for Ontario's 1.82 million condominium residents and owners. I hope you've all had a chance to review our 2024-2025 annual report, which we released on Friday last week. This report summarizes the work we've been doing over the past year. We hope this morning's webinar heightens your curiosity about the important topics it covers. Before I touch on some of its highlights, I wanted to say a few words about Ontario's condominium sector. This year has tested us. High interest rates, inflation, and volatile construction costs are bringing unprecedented challenges to Ontario's condominium communities. New condo launches have slowed, while the maintenance of existing buildings has become more complicated and costly. Directors, managers, owners, and residents are feeling these pressures. This is not lost on us. In fact, it reinforces the importance of the work that we do, which aims to improve condo living by providing services and resources for condominium communities. Through sessions like this, we look forward to learning how we can continue to enhance our services and resources. The 2024-2025 report summarizes the progress in the first year of a 3-year strategic plan that concludes in 2027. Now, allow me to share a few of the highlights from the past year. First, we launched Director Training 2.0, fulfilling a milestone obligation under the Condominium Act. The refreshed training features relevant and timely content updates, practical tools and tips, and 2 brand new modules. These improvements were made following valuable sector feedback, and the response to the new training has remained very positive since its launch. Secondly, a new guide for self-represented parties was released. The guide is intended to support condominium owners, directors, and other sector partners in understanding and exercising their rights and responsibilities before the tribunal. Thirdly, we published a first-of-its-kind research on reserve funds in Ontario. The goal of this work was to gain a better understanding of the state of reserve funds in Ontario, critical to its long-term sustainability. This was the first step. In the year ahead, we're going to deepen our research into the health of reserve funds across the province to carry that conversation forward. We will continue to enhance our digital platforms, education programs, and dispute resolution tools. I also want to address our leadership transition. With Robin Dafoe's recent departure, the board has initiated a process to select the CAO's next Chief Executive Officer. That process is expected to conclude in 2026. We will continue to ensure stable operations, strong management, accountability, and continuity of services in the interim. I'd like to thank the CAO staff and its tribunal members for their hard work and professionalism over the past year. I would also like to thank all the owners, directors, managers, and service professionals who provide insights through our research and advisory work. While there are certainly challenges that we're all dealing with today, we also see opportunities ahead. By working together, we can continue to enhance consumer protection and support condominium communities across the province. We are committed to listening to you and looking forward to creating more opportunities for engagement and discussion similar to today. So with that, please join me in turning our attention to the Honourable Minister Stephen Crawford and his remarks. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. I'm very pleased to join you virtually as the Minister of Public and Business Service Delivery and Procurement to extend greetings to everyone attending the Condominium Authority of Ontario's annual meeting. Thank you, Chair Alison Scanlon, the board, and the entire Condo Authority team for the opportunity to participate in this important annual meeting. Your efforts have been instrumental in empowering condo communities right across Ontario. Ontario remains committed to fostering a fair and transparent marketplace that protects families and home buyers. Our government is taking decisive action to build a stronger, more prosperous Ontario and make life better for everyone. But long-lasting change requires collaboration. We can't do it alone. Together, we are working side by side on better policies and stronger regulations to improve consumer protection. As Ontario's authoritative source on condo living, the CAO plays a vital role in both protecting consumers and supporting condo communities across the province, such as through education, dispute resolution, and public registry access. Your hard work gives owners, residents, and boards the tools they need to navigate condo life with clarity, fairness, and confidence. Our government has supported the CAO to provide advanced director training and introduce the new Consumer Protection and Compliance Policy. These changes help guarantee that condo corporations and directors meet their legal obligations. Through your modernized digital services, condo owners can easily access information and tools to help them understand condo living, as well as how to quickly resolve conflict or disputes. With the updated Condo Buyer's Guide, CAO has provided Ontarians with a valuable resource to make informed decisions when entering the condo market. Earlier this year, the CAO introduced a new guide designed to self-represent parties. My ministry relies on the advice and feedback of the CAO, most recently on initiatives aimed at improving consumer protection in condos and exploring expansion of the jurisdiction of the Condominium Authority Tribunal. You provide the expertise, awareness, and education that helps us protect Ontarians every day. We share the same goal, to stand up for families and home buyers by improving the condo sector. We are delivering results that matter to Ontarians by improving the existing Condominium Act and expanding the Condo Authority Tribunal's jurisdictional powers. With your support, our government has implemented measures to protect Ontario and safeguard the future of condo communities. We are strengthening protections for existing condo owners and for those who are making one of the most significant investments, a new home. Ontario is growing, and condos are a key part of that growth. We're making sure the condo sector stays strong, fair, and reliable for future generations. I look forward to working closely with you as we continue to protect Ontarians, support condo communities across the province. Together, we will keep building a stronger Ontario for everyone. Thank you once again. I wish you a productive and engaging meeting.
Apologies, I was muted. Thank you so much to Minister Crawford and our board chair for setting the scene for us so nicely. Our leadership team is also here, and they're very excited to speak with you today, so they can dive into a bit deeper into what each of them does. So let's start with Rana Manzoor. He's CAO's Chief of Financial and Digital Operations. Rana has been with the CAO since its very early days in 2017. He is responsible for managing CAO's finances and operations, and previously spent 18 years in international leadership roles across the private and public sectors. He specializes in financial reporting and management. Rana, we'll go over to you.
Thank you, Alex. It is great to be here with you all today. I would like to start off by talking about how we do business here at the CAO. Our financial philosophy is grounded in three key principles: fiscal prudence, consistent delivery of digital services, and a clear focus on value for money. And I'm proud to say that this approach has not only resulted in our eighth consecutive clean, error-free, independent audit, but also allowed us to sustain critical digital platforms, reinvest into service improvements, and deliver measurable benefits back to the community we serve. Let's start with the basics. Most of our funding comes from just $1 per voting unit per month, collected through condo corporations across Ontario. In the 24-25 fiscal year, the assessment fee revenue reached almost $14 million, which is approximately 1.7% increase over the previous years. This growth is driven primarily by new condos that are registered with CAO and some of the older corporations that have filed the overdue returns. We also collected just over $37,000 in the tribunal fee, which represents a 9.6% increase approximately from the previous year. And it aligns with the growth in the cases that are handled by the Condominium Authority Tribunal. I'm sure you'll be hearing more about it later. Though it is important to point out here that the tribunal operations are significantly supported by the CAO's overall revenue model. CAD fee accounts for only a small fraction of approximately 0.26% of our total funding, which is what enables us to make the tribunal such a cost-effective dispute resolution services. On the spending side, the total expenditure for the fiscal year came to $13.1 million, which is approximately 7.6% increase from the previous year, and is fully aligned with the budget and the business plan for the fiscal year 24-25. Much of the investment has been directed towards building our capacity, especially in the technology and the people, being the digital service that we provide. These investments reflect our continued focus on finding the right talent to deliver what you need from us so we can support a harmonious condo community across the Ontario. One of the ways we do this is by running the organization as leanly as possible while strategically investing in the services that matters the most. Let's talk about those digital services for a moment. The CAO delivers maintains several critical tools for the sector, including mandatory director training, returns and notice of change filing, the condo registry, the Condo Authority Tribunal, and more. These tools are all built, maintained, and upgraded by an in-house team with the minimal external support and definitely with the input from the condo community. This year, we focused in particular on enhancing the director training, improving the functionality of some of our key condo forms, and improving the condo registry. We are constantly working to modernize our platform and deliver a better experience to the people who rely on our services. Speaking of these services, I was hoping we can take a moment here so we can find out more about how you use them. In particular, I'm curious to see how many of you use the condo registry to look up who is on your board, your manager, or see if the CAO issued a registrar certificate. Also tell us where you want us to focus next. So you'll be seeing a poll up on your screens. While you're taking the poll, for those who might not have used it, Condo Registry is a really handy tool that pulls together the key information on every condominium across Ontario. And it's more than just a database. It helps boards, owners, and stakeholders stay informed and make it easier to promote the compliance in their communities. I'm gonna take a pause while you guys fill out the poll. See many people joined us, which is heartening to see. Your input really helps us, not just here. This quick poll shows us what matters most right now, but don't forget, we also have surveys across our digital services where you can share more detailed feedback. Those really help us understand what's working, what needs attention. So we would love for you to take a few minutes to fill them in too. That will really help us. Hey, interesting. It's nice to see a lot of more than half, at least half of the people have used. That's really nice. For those who haven't, please check it out. And I can tell you, it's a very valuable tool. Feel free to tell us more about the choices that you have made in the chat. Looking ahead, we are excited about several upcoming improvements, including refreshed and enhanced user experience platforms for filing returns and notice of change, using the CAT dispute platform, and assessing and using the condo registry. We'll be announcing more soon, and we hope you'll subscribe to our newsletter so you can be the first to know when these upgrades go live. I'll leave it there for now. Back to you, Alex.
Thank you so much, Rana. Really interesting showcase of our finances and digital products. Great to see that so many people have a desire for us to both improve what we're currently doing and also talk about the condo registry more. I'm seeing some people in the chat saying that they didn't know it existed. I encourage everyone to go check it out. We have lots of questions that have already come in, so let's just pick one for you. You mentioned briefly in your remarks, but maybe you can expand a little bit. Are there any planned improvements coming to the CAT online dispute resolution platform?
Thank you, Alex. Thank you to our participant for asking about this. In short, the answer is yes. We have been working on an upgrade that will be coming soon. I'm not able to discuss the details yet, but can say that we have been collaborating with the members of our advisory panel group, as well as the former CAT case participants, about the pain points with the current system, and really getting the idea on how we can address them. Our planned improvements focus on those pain points, and as I said earlier, also addressing them in a way that is cost effective. Our work in this area is ongoing, and our plan is to continue rolling out improvements after the launch so that we can keep addressing the feedback as it comes in. If you'd like to be involved in these discussions, make sure to subscribe to the CAO and join our advisory panel group. I look forward to engaging with you further on this as we get closer to the launching and afterwards as well.
Okay, really interesting. I look forward to that as well. One more for you, Rana, and then we'll move on. And by the way, we're going to have several Q&A sessions throughout. So if your question hasn't been asked yet, don't worry, we'll get to them as we hear more from ELT. Okay, so Rana, do you know if the CAO has any plans to increase its assessment fee of $1 per unit per month?
Thanks again, Alex. There are no plans currently to do this. Our focus is, as I mentioned earlier, is to achieve more with the means that we have. If that were ever to change, the sector would get lots of notice through consultation. So no, not at this time. There are no plans to change our assessment fee.
Okay, I love a nice, clear, definitive answer. That's great. Let's move right along. Next, you're going to be hearing from Emily Escobar, who is the Chief of Corporate Affairs. Emily joined the CAO in early 2018, and she brings with her more than 15 years of experience in public sector, governance, corporate strategy, and external relations. Emily's also my boss. I hope you are extra nice to her. Over to you, Emily.
Thanks, Alex, and good morning, everyone. It's great to be here speaking with you all today. I wanted to take a few minutes this morning to talk about how we've worked to expand our outreach efforts to build strong connections across Ontario's condo communities. We know that owners, directors, and corporations all have different needs and expectations, so our focus is meeting people where they are. For condo owners, our priority over the past few years has been and will continue to be to raise awareness and engage. We want owners to know who we are and how we can help them on their condo living journey. This is why we have focused on building an active social media presence and why we invest in digital advertising. Last year, we launched 2 major campaigns, one highlighting CAO's information, education, and dispute resolution services, and another promoting a new guide for self-represented parties that the minister referenced earlier. Together, those two campaigns alone generated 2.8 million interactions and over 177,000 meaningful actions. This translated into more users finding our website and our resources, and most importantly, increased awareness as measured through our annual third-party survey. For condo boards and directors, our focus is on partnership and collaboration. We do this through our sector newsletter, which shares guidance, announces new initiatives, and invites directors to take part in advisory panels, roundtables, and user experience projects. Over the past few years, we have grown CAO's advisory community to nearly 5,000 members strong, and we're looking to keep it going. Anyone can join at any time. Just subscribe to our updates and say yes when asked if you'd like to participate. We reach out several times every year to gather input on key initiatives, including the ones Rana just mentioned. We also make a point of being present at sector events to meet face-to-face with the people we work alongside and serve. This year, we've expanded those efforts to include memberships and sponsorships with key sector partners, and we'll be focusing on how we can better work together in support of condo communities across Ontario. Working with our sector partners is central to CAO's vision and mission, and we know that we cannot have consumer protection without strong collaboration. So I encourage everyone here to subscribe and stay in the know and pass it along to everyone else they know. Before I hand it back to Alex to get to some questions, I wanted to ask everyone who's online here today a quick question. As we continue our outreach efforts, we want to know the best way to engage with you all and how you like to engage with CAO's content. So there's a few options here about how we communicate and do our outreach, and we would love to hear how you prefer to get your news from CAO or where you find us. I'll give everyone a second. And please, after you vote, please tell us in the chat how we can improve some of these tactics, or if you have any new ideas of how we can better reach and support you all. Eagerly waiting these results to come in.
Spoiler alert, I think a lot of people like our newsletter, which is really great to see.
I don't see the results coming up yet. There we go. Oh, wow. Okay, so that's really, really encouraging to hear and to see. Our CAO newsletter is something we've been working on over the past few years that's aimed at giving great updates to everyone and letting them know what's going on at the CAO. And we also encourage all directors and managers who have received our newsletter to share it with their condo owners so they get that information as well.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm very excited to see how much people read our newsletter, which is really great. I know a lot of you joined this meeting through that newsletter. So yeah, thanks, Emily. Let's get a couple of questions that have come in for you. So let's start off with this one. How can someone become a member of the board of directors of the Condominium Authority of Ontario?
Thank you for the question and for your interest. So CAO's board is comprised of 7 directors. 4 are elected and 3 are appointed by the minister. You can see our current board of director bios and their current terms on our website. But when there is a vacancy for an elected director, we post a public call for applicants, and the board's nominating committee reviews applications and then recommends candidates to the board. Recommended candidates are elected by the members at the annual members meeting held every fall. There are no vacancies right now for this year, but if you're interested, I encourage you to subscribe to our updates so you'll be notified when any opportunities open and we are doing a public call.
Amazing. Okay, one more for you, Emily. And perhaps others may want to jump in as well ahead of their presentations. Will the CAO offer more accessible training and resources to help owners and boards understand their rights and responsibilities?
Thanks, Alex. Yeah, I mean, this is sort of at the core of what we do. We know how important it is to inform and educate. On top of the activities I just shared from our annual report for 24-25, there was another big initiative that we launched early this year that Minister Crawford touched on, and that's our newly updated condo buyer's guide. So this guide was developed through extensive engagement with the condo communities, and we recommend that all condo owners use it as a resource or a reference for understanding roles and responsibilities as a condo owner. And there are also a lot of really helpful tips around community living and harmonious communities. Cam, maybe I can pass it over to you to talk a little bit about our support for condo board directors.
Yeah, thanks so much, Emily. I agree that ensuring boards and owners understand their rights and responsibilities is critically important. We take this part of our mandate very seriously. Maybe let me expand on how we help educate and inform directors first. Since the CAO launched, we've been responsible for providing mandatory training to all condo board directors in the province. As of March 31st, 2025, almost 80,000 individuals have completed the training, and satisfaction scores have remained very high, often above the 90%. We recently expanded the training to include more modules and topics after consultation with the sector. And as everyone knows, education is a lifelong journey. Beyond director training, our support of the condo community continues through guides, our website, digital products, and communication campaigns. We also have our information services team available to support anyone that needs help navigating the condo world and condo living. And some of our most frequently asked questions include things like records requests, how to file a return or notice, things about repair and maintenance obligations. And so the team is available to you during business hours, 9 to 5, by phone or by email. And I know we have, Alex mentioned, we have some of the team observing this webinar today and answering some of the questions in the Q&A. So thanks to the team.
Amazing. Thank you, Cam. Okay, well, actually, that dovetails really nicely into the next portion of our webinar, which is where we get to hear more from you. For those who don't know Cam, she's the CAO's VP of Education Compliance, and she's also CAO's Registrar. Cam is the newest member of our executive. She joined in March of 2025, and she brings 23 years of experience in the post-secondary sector, working in a number of colleges, universities in Ontario and Manitoba. She's responsible, and where she was responsible for managing records, systems, regulation compliance, data, and client experience. So we're very happy to have Cam. I certainly have enjoyed working with her a lot. So Cam, over to you for your remarks.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Yeah, so good morning, everyone. Again, this is my first large meeting, and I'm excited to be here. And perhaps this is your first meeting with the CAO as well, or maybe you're a seasoned member of the condo community. It's fantastic to have so many of you here today with us, condo directors, managers, owners, professionals, all tuning in from across the province. You represent the many faces of Ontario's vibrant and evolving condo community. So today I'm going to walk through some key highlights from the CAO's newly published annual report for 2024-2025. As you can see on the screen here, there are 1.82 million Ontarians living in condos. That's nearly 1 in every 7 people in the province who are living in a condo. And in the last 5 years, we've seen the number of condo corporations grow by 10.2%. In 2024-25, 47% of all new homes built in Ontario were condos. And that's thousands of new homes added across Ontario, which is great news for the province. As Alison mentioned earlier, we also know that condo growth is slowing. In 2024-25, only 281 new condo corporations were registered with the Land Registry Office, down from 325 a few years ago, and certainly below the 5-year average of 306. And so condo industry experts, are pointing to several contributing factors to this slowdown: high interest rates, a looming economic downturn, skilled labor shortage, rising construction costs, a demand for rental housing, leading to some condo projects being canceled or converted. And so these challenges are reshaping the sector's landscape for sure. And the CAO is continuing to monitor the changes and the needs of existing condo communities. Last year, just over 13,300 annual returns were filed with the CAO. As many of you know, filing returns with the CAO is a legal requirement under the Condo Act that allows the CAO to provide consumers with key information about the condo sector. And a lot of people often tell us that they want to know more about what kind of condos exist in Ontario, and they want to see more data. So on the screen here, we created this flow chart, which is included in our annual report. And it shows that 99% of all condo corporations that file returns with the CAO are freehold condo corporations. And then the most common subtype of which are standard. So what most people would generally think as a residential condo. Of the freehold standard condo corporations, the most prevalent size in Ontario is small, which has 76 units or less. So I encourage everyone to read our annual report and explore our data. We're working on displaying more information on our website based on inquiries and feedback that we've received from the community. As we gear up to do that, we're interested to know which type of data you find most useful. So we're going to put a poll up to allow you to let us know what you think. So what condo sector data would you like to see on our website? Such things as the breakdown of types of condos. Would you like to see more market data around kind of the condo sector and its health? Would you like to see more information on CAT cases and stats? Maybe all of the above, maybe none of the above. So we're just interested to know what you think. The data team is very excited about the results of this poll, Alex.
Yeah, and as usual, I think we're gonna hear that everybody wants everything, which is really great.
Okay, all of the above. Great.
Yep.
Okay, yeah,
Look
that's
forward to doing that work, Cam.
good. And maybe a focus on CAT cases and stats. Yeah, which is not surprising. We get a lot of inquiries about that. Wonderful. Okay, back to you, Alex. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Cam. That was really instructive and informative. Thank you. We have lots of questions on these topics, so let's just move right along. What can condo owners do when their board is not abiding by their legal duties? What recourse do owners have?
That's a great question. First and foremost, don't forget the boards are comprised of fellow owners and neighbors, and they often, share your interest in the corporation's well-being. With this in mind, the first step is to address your concern with your management and the board of directors. Ask the question in a collaborative way, if possible. Offer your support. It's important to determine is there a lack of compliance or possibly just a perceived one. Try to come from a place of genuine discovery about what the real issue is. And then as a next step, perhaps offer to help in some way again. For example, if the board is struggling because they're having difficulty maintaining quorum, that means that they would love for you or someone else to raise their hand and join the board. I think Mark, oh yeah, I see Mark there. Mark, would you like to add? Yeah.
Definitely, Cam. I completely agree with you around the collaborative approach. I think it can go a long way, and it's certainly in the vast majority of situations the best way to start to avoid unnecessary escalation of issues. In fact, I often recommend being proactive, getting to know the members of your community well in advance of any issues coming up. It's better if you have that rapport and put faces to names. Take the time of awkward elevator conversations to chat about the weather, to share your enthusiasm about the Blue Jays playoff run. Get to know people in a casual way. And that can go a long way in avoiding issues escalating unnecessarily based on assumptions or misunderstandings. But the question was really about recourse, and I'm going to share three, but I'd like to share the three, first of all, in the understanding that I'm not saying to do this right away. This is if a friendly approach does not work. It should not be your first step in addressing a concern. So the Condominium Authority Tribunal does have the ability to order corporations to do certain things, such as provide records. If your issue surrounds the tribunal's jurisdiction, that might be an option for you to consider. If you are looking for something beyond the tribunal's jurisdiction, you might need to consider going to court. Of course, that can be a lengthy, expensive, and adversarial process, so it's better to try to avoid that, but it is an option that's available to consumers. The third one is one that every condo owner should know about, but should only use if they really have to. I do not recommend it as a first, as a second, or even as a third step if you're experiencing an issue. I really encourage you to try working collaboratively first. But if enough owners are all on the same page around a concern, there is the opportunity to requisition a meeting that could do so much as to even consider removing directors. Now, again, this is often referred to us by members of the sector as the nuclear option. It's not something that we recommend by any means as an early step, but it is important to know your rights and obligations. Ultimately, so often it comes down to good communication.
Those are great points. Thank you both. I think that reminder is really important that living in a condo is living in a community. So, it's great to approach it that way. We have another one here for you, Cam. Can the condo authority come to my condo community and speak to my board and force them to comply with the Condo Act? We get this one a lot.
Yeah, if you are unhappy with the way things are being run at your condo, there's many actions you can take depending on your unique circumstance. The first step should always be, again, to encourage, engage in a productive conversation with your neighbors and your managers and others. The CEO is happy to help with that process, but we can't come into your community and make changes based on the will of one or more individuals in that community. It's up to that community to find out what works best for them. If we take a step back for a moment, let's talk about the legal framework of condo living, not just in Ontario, but all over the world. As many of you are aware, a condominium is a form of real estate ownership where an individual owns a private unit within a larger complex and shares joint ownership and responsibility for the common areas and amenities. This means that anyone who buys a condo just doesn't own their unit, but they also have a financial stake in the whole building. And with that, they also gain, rights, duties, and responsibilities as owners. Broadly speaking, they gain the right to vote and have a voice in the community, the responsibility to partake in that community in a constructive way, and the duty to follow the rules that the community sets for itself. So unit owners elect condo boards and entrust them with the responsibility of running the condo corporation. This is because in Ontario, their governance is subject to the Condo Act, the specific documents of each condo corporation, that is the declaration and the bylaws and the numerous rules developed over time for the community. In this way, condos are set up to work like democracies. And so our role here at the CEO since 2017 has been to help facilitate the smooth running of these democracies by providing owners and directors with education, resources, and tools so that you can engage in productive and informed conversations. So part of how we do this is by hosting events like this webinar today. In terms of boards and governance specifically, we provide mandatory director training. We have a website outlining what condo boards do and a guide on board governance. We encourage everyone to access this information, even if you aren't a director. So the director training, for example, has individual modules that you can access that you may find very useful, and you can view them when it suits your schedule, and they're free. We also provide access to the Condominium Authority Tribunal to help resolve certain disputes that communities cannot resolve on their own. And that's what we do, and we're committed to keep doing that.
Thank you, Cam. That's a really thorough answer. I've seen that question being asked a lot in the Q&A today. So for those who are asking, that's your answer. Okay, I'm loving the energy of this discussion and really look forward to keeping it going. We have 2 more question periods after more presentations. You already heard a little bit from Mark, and that's who you'll hear more from next. Mark Bala, he's our VP of Policy Programs Dispute Resolution, and he's also our Deputy Registrar. Mark is the second newest member of our executive team, joining in October of 2024. However, his experience in the condo sector runs deep, and many of you may know or recognize him already. He was one of the original members of the Condominium Authority Tribunal and has for over 20 years worked as a mediator and as an arbitrator of condo-related issues. Over to you, Mark.
Thanks, Alex. It's so great to be here. Thank you, everybody, for taking time out of a beautiful October 1st to join us here today. I wake up every morning excited about the work the CAO is doing and the opportunity to take part in it. I'm really excited to talk to you today about one particular area that's of large interest that I, as a condo owner, particularly enjoy, and that's reserve funds. I have a friend who owns a traditional house and experienced a roof leak, an unexpected one, was not planning for this, and had to incur great expense replacing their roof. What I really enjoy is the concept of reserve funds, the idea that myself and my fellow owners can engage experts to help us predict the major replacement and repairs that are going to be needed to the common elements and assets of the corporation. It's not perfect, of course, but I do take comfort as an owner myself in the concept of it. And I really enjoy the work that the CAO is doing to further research it. It's considered the first of its kind in the academic space and across condos internationally, really. Essentially, for those who are less familiar, reserve funds are legally mandated savings that condominium corporations have. They put funds aside into a special account that can only be withdrawn from for major repair and replacement projects. And Every 3 years, there is a look at that and a assessment done to ensure that the condominium is saving enough. And of course, it's not perfect, but it does go a long way in providing some comfort that the funds are going to be available when you do have some major repairs or replacements to carry out. We at the CAO this past fiscal year released a reserve fund study that was referenced earlier on, and I'm going to share a little bit about some of the results of that and where we're heading going forward with respect to this research. So we do find that a significant portion of most condominiums budget goes toward reserve funds. There are rules for managing this set out in the Condominium Act. We, in our survey, surveyed 724 corporations and 5,986 owners as a crucial first step to understanding more about reserve funds. We've also launched a new partnership with Dr. Murtaza Haider at the Urban Analytics Institute of Toronto Metropolitan University to further our research going forward. What I'm going to do now is share a little bit about what we found in our initial survey, and we're planning to go more in depth in our upcoming current research and what's going to come out publicly in this fiscal year. So essentially, we did find that the study confirmed that Ontario is a leader in the condo space with respect to reserves. In fact, just last week, there was an article out of British Columbia pointing to Ontario and noting that we, on average, put 2 to 3 times more in reserves than BC's do in their stratas. So essentially, that is something that's hopeful and a good message overall. We do find, though, that increasing inflation rates for long-term repair costs are rising and do need to be considered. Concerns surrounding higher inflation is something that we do need to keep an eye on, and we are going to be paying particular attention to in the course of our ongoing research. We found that 2/3 of corporations told us that their experts recommended an increase of more than 3% to the common expenses. And we found that 79% of corporations reported that they're meeting the recommendations of the experts. They're hitting those targets. 21% are not, of course, and we're going to be further researching that to get better understanding of what those challenges are and what can be done. 2/3 of condominium corporations contributed more than 30% of their total budget to their reserves. Contributions were highest among common element condos and lowest amongst vacant land condominium corporations. Interestingly, Toronto showed the highest contributions by voting owners across the province. And of course, as we all know, the use of special assessments and loans can sometimes be used to cover shortfalls in reserves, and we'll certainly be looking more into that in the course of our ongoing research. Now to hear a little bit more from you. We're going to put up a poll asking, have you had a special assessment in your corporation over the past year? The second part of the question is going to ask if you were assessed, if you felt that your community was consulted appropriately before the assessment was issued. So let's see what you have to say. I will share that I myself have gone through a special assessment in my condo about 3 years ago. Our board had an information meeting to let everybody know it was coming. We didn't have any vote as to whether or not it was coming. That's a board decision, but they did communicate with us. Not everybody was happy because people don't like to be asked to cough up money, but at the same time, communication is really key in navigating these difficult decisions. Let's see what the poll results are. 77% of you did not have a special assessment in the last year. So that makes the second question a little bit difficult to assess because you didn't have that. But from that, we saw 35%, which really highlights to us the recommendation of communicate, 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 that when boards are faced with difficult financial decisions, it's important to keep people informed and let them know what's going on to avoid surprises insofar as possible. Back to you, Alex.
Thank you so much, Mark. Yeah, that's really interesting. I'm a condo owner too, and my last assessment was in 2020. I'm lucky that my condo corporation actually is run really well, and I really like them, and they communicated really well. So interesting to see as well that the results that we're getting today, even though it's a small sample, do match what we saw in the study that we did several years ago. So that's really great to see. Okay, we have lots of questions about this topic. I know it's a big one. So Mark, let's just go right back to you. So what is considered a healthy reserve fund balance, and can over contributions be redirected to operating expenses?
Great question, a two-parter. I'll answer the second part first. Contributions to the reserve funds cannot be redirected. You can only take money out of the reserve fund for major repairs and replacements. So that's a simple answer. The more complicated answer is, what is a healthy reserve? And let me just talk through a quick example with you. Imagine two condos, same size, same age. One has a higher reserve fund balance than the other. If you were to just consider the higher balance to mean a healthier reserve, you're missing some key context. Say the condo with the lower reserve fund balance just completed a major project, and the condo with the higher reserve fund balance is just about to start a major project. If you don't take that into account, you might not realize. So I think you have to delve a little bit deeper. We encourage everybody to go back to the reserve fund study to assess and the expert recommendations around what is adequate funding. It's hard to define what it is. It does vary. Each condo is different. Unique sizes, unique challenges, unique assets, unique common elements that have to be considered. So it's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
Great, thank you, Mark. One more question about this, and this one actually the individual shared their name and where they're from, which is great. We have a question from Douglas from Simcoe. Does the Condo Act require that corporations hire managers, or can our condo be self-managed?
Condos can, in fact, be self-managed. If a condominium is going to hire or pay for management services, it's important that that paid management service provider is licensed, but condominiums can be self-managed. We do have some resources on our websites around this. There are certain elements of a condo that might make it better suited for self-management, such as a smaller unit size, for example. But also, management service itself is not an all or nothing proposition. We do see a number of condominiums that use unbundled management services. They might hire a manager to help them with the financial side of their affairs, for example, and board members take more of a hands-on approach. But it's a great question, Douglas. Yes, condominiums can in fact be self-managed. We do recommend careful consideration to make sure that your particular community is best served with whichever approach you take. Thank you.
Amazing. Okay, well, thanks so much, Mark. That was really interesting. Great to see our study highlighted there as well. So last but definitely not least, you will hear from Ian Darling, who is the chair of the Condominium Tribunal. Ian was responsible for recruiting and leading a team of mediators and adjudicators who oversee the CAT. Before the CAT, he was the ombudsman for Therion and for Fanshawe College as well. Ian, over to you to talk about the CAT.
Excellent. Thanks, Alex. I think it's kind of fitting that I am presenting last, because in many ways the tribunal's the last resort. We've heard a whole bunch so far about all the work that the CAO is doing to prevent conflicts, to provide people with information. Mark had talked earlier about preventative early resolution type work. Essentially we're here as a last resort in certain circumstances to be able to help with that. Alex mentioned I've been at as a CAT chair since the tribunal started in 2017. On a personal note, October 2nd, tomorrow is my anniversary of starting. So I'm going to highlight to you a little bit of the journey. Before that, I'm going to take a moment to go over what the CAT is, how it works, and for those of you who may not know yet. So the CAT is Ontario's first fully online tribunal. What that means is we're a tribunal that from the moment that the application is filed, all the way to the decision, the process is conducted online. It's a model of convenience, efficiency, and affordability for all tribunals. We have a 3-stage dispute resolution process. So when the parties join, they negotiate online, followed by mediation with a tribunal member, and then adjudication. This helps people resolve specific types of condo-related disputes quickly, conveniently, and affordably. It also allows it to be available 24/7. So that doesn't mean necessarily that everybody's participating at midnight on Sunday, but if that's the time when you can, that's what works best. We had a case very, very early when we first started where someone was only able to access a computer from their workplace during their breaks at 2 in the morning because they had an evening job, and they were able to participate effectively. The slide that's up talks about our jurisdiction. So the jurisdiction for the tribunal is established by the Ontario government. We heard the comments of the minister earlier today. We don't have the ability just to decide we're going to start taking on new issues. That's something that the government provides us with a regulation for a framework for that. So our jurisdiction includes issues related to condo records, nuisances, such as smoke, odor, noise, light, vibration, and other nuisances as established in the governing documents. We also deal with pets, vehicles, parking, and storage, and compliance with settlement agreements. So for more information about that, you can check out the tribunal website. The minister had mentioned considering proposals to expand the tribunal's jurisdiction, and we have a poll. So we're wondering what you think. We'll pop up a poll on the screen now and give you a chance to weigh in. So the options that are available are whether we should deal with meetings, board governance, all chargebacks, repair and maintenance, all of the above, and none of the above. So we'll give some time for the answers on that. I have been watching the questions that have come through in the chat, and I think we've seen some of these types of questions. And I'm not sure how long the poll will stay open for, but when ready, I'll give some comments on it. One of the things I think that's intriguing about the tribunal is the relationship between our decisions and everything else that the CAT does. So Alex, whenever the poll's closed, I'll provide comments on things. But essentially, the decisions that we make, the idea is that will also guide behavior. So I do encourage people to read those. Oh, look at that! All of the above is the answer. So
I think we have a theme today, Ian, with people wanting us to do all of the above.
That's right. More. This is it's good to hear this. I will say as tribunal chair, our responsibility is to deal with the issues that we have the jurisdiction to deal with. But the CAO does have a role in terms of providing feedback to the ministry about the types of issues that are being experienced and the feedback. So we'll move that forward. As I move forward with my presentation, the annual report message also talks a lot about how the CAT uses active adjudication. And one of the things that's different about the tribunal from a typical tribunal, or even from the typical court process, is that the tribunal members in a case are really involved in figuring out a just and fast way to resolve the dispute and helping everybody participate. So it's building on the material that's in the self-represented parties guides as well. As we move forward, I'm going to talk to you a little about the number of cases that the tribunal has received. This year, we accepted 341 new cases and issued 196 decisions and orders. So you will notice in reading the chart that there was a big jump in 2022-23, and this was the last time that the tribunal's jurisdiction was expanded to include nuisances. The other thing that I think is important is the work that we do through stages 1 and 2 to resolve cases without needing adjudication. The adjudication stages can be longer. It's hard in a way because there's always a winner and a loser. And so what these stages this is showing is that approximately 2/3 of our cases are resolved through negotiation or mediation. It's important because the parties can buy into that. They have control over the resolutions themselves. And it's part of the same approach we talked about in terms of providing a modern and collaborative dispute resolution, building on the other work that the CAO does. So having provided that background, I look forward to your questions. But before I leave you, one final poll, which is whether you or your corporation have been involved in a CAT case. And if yes or no. And then a part two of this is, have you read a CAT decision within the last year? So we'll provide that to you. And Alex, if you want, we can start the first question while the poll's going, and then we can I can riff on the answers once they're done, or we can I can
Sure,
wait.
Ian. That sounds good.
Sure.
Yeah, we have lots of questions for you, so that's a good idea. Can the CAT's jurisdiction be expanded to include condo rules and bylaws, especially in cases where boards are enforcing unreasonable or oppressive rules? Is one of the ones we have so far.
Okay, cool, thanks. So the role of the tribunal is to hear and resolve disputes that are within its jurisdiction. So I mentioned earlier about the fact that it's created by regulations. So any changes to regulations, including tribunal jurisdiction, would have to come from the government. We have seen, like in the comments earlier today, the minister did mention an intention to expand the jurisdiction. We have heard from others who are interested in hearing the jurisdiction expand. I'm going to put Mark on the spot now and invite him to come in and chat a little bit about what the last consultation was about and your perspective on that.
Thanks, Ian. So for everybody who's not aware, the jurisdiction is established by the Government of Ontario. It's not as though the tribunal or the CAO can set the jurisdiction, but we certainly have our part in making submissions, and the government actively seeks submissions around this. Just last year in 2024, there was a request for submissions considering meetings as a jurisdiction, and we understand that that's something that's in progress and being contemplated. Not sure where it's going to go. It could potentially include things like requisitions, notices of meetings, proxies, those types of pieces, but we're all going to have to wait and see. At the CAO, though, we're always really keen to hear your feedback and get your ideas. So please feel free to reach out to us at any time with your thoughts and suggestions so we can take them into consideration through our communications around this. Now, Ian, you were talking about the number of decisions, and I want to congratulate you because I believe the tribunal set a record this year for the most number of cases received. And as an original member, I remember in those early days in 2017, the uncertainty without decisions being out there, without a body of cases and decisions being out, and seeing in the poll how many people are reading the cases and being able to get some ideas of what's common, guide their expectations around results. I think it's great. We've come a long way, and I wanted to congratulate you.
Well, thanks. I mean, it's I don't think it's necessarily me. It's part of a team with tribunal members. So I think it reflects a lot of work that the tribunal members have done to produce the decisions and resolve cases informally as well. I think one of the things, just reflecting on the poll, all of our tribunal decisions are posted on the website. And I do encourage folks to read them. I joke sometimes that they're great reading if you're having trouble falling asleep, but they actually are also, every decision we're explaining the details of what happened in the case and why we're coming up with the rulings that we are. And it's really important, I think, also when reading the decisions to understand every decision is based on the unique circumstances of each case. If we're making a decision about a governing documents case, for instance, each condo has distinct governing documents as well. So it's a matter of reflecting on those as well and making a decision based on those circumstances. So, thanks, Alex. I'm ready for whatever's next.
Okay, great. Well, we have a few more. So Ian, why doesn't the CAT award legal costs to the successful party like the courts do? And is there any plan to change this?
Okay, thanks. Looking back to the tribunal set up in the context of the Condominium Act being a consumer protection piece of legislation. So the intention in setting up the tribunal was to have a cost-effective and accessible place to resolve disputes. One of the things that's interesting is that if you look at life before the CAO and before the tribunal, there weren't a lot of decisions about condo issues, and we've created space for issues to be resolved in a way that they haven't before. It also means that we do costs awards slightly differently than courts. It is very rare that courts will fully award costs themselves. Our proceedings are less formal, and they allow to be for self-representation. So one of the fundamental issues about costs is it's also about access to justice. And for us, the consequence of adopting a court model where awarding costs that immediately follow the outcome of the case puts that access to justice at risk. So what we're trying to do is balancing the interests that there are court decisions that say condominiums shouldn't be responsible for the bad conduct of individual owners. But we've also seen that if there's an expectation that 100% of the costs will be awarded, it can encourage parties to litigate more aggressively and focus less on community-focused outcomes. So these are the things that we're looking to balance. That said, our approach is also not wanting to allow for bad conduct. And our practice direction around costs talks about we will consider awarding costs if parties have acted unreasonably, caused an additional delay or expense. The other thing that we are doing this year, and this is an opportunity to announce, is that we will be doing a consultation on our rules publicly and gathering feedback. So if you feel that our approach needs to change, keep an eye on the CAO newsletters and emails for more information about that process. We have created some draft rules of practice with revisions. And in that, there'll be an opportunity for people to comment about our cost rules as well.
Amazing. Thank you, Ian. Okay, a couple more for you. Why doesn't the CAT enforce its orders, and why don't you do more about vexatious litigants that keep bringing cases to the CAT even though they know they will lose?
I like that you're giving me all the easy questions, Alex. Okay, so one of the things in looking at the idea of enforcement, every tribunal in Ontario works under the same model, where parties that are seeking compliance need to go to the courts. And this isn't something that's unique to the CAT. It comes from the Statutory Powers and Procedures Act that establishes the rules for how tribunals will work. So I mentioned earlier is that parties are committed to resolving their issues. We talked about 2/3 of the cases being resolved through mediation or negotiation. If we look at since the CAT started, we have about 1,500 decisions and orders that we've issued, and we have fewer than 5 cases where parties have had to seek compliance through the courts. So to me, this demonstrates the effectiveness of the enforcement process. In terms of vexatious litigants and improper use of the tribunal, we have a variety of rules that for how the tribunal can dismiss applications either before, like when a case is received, or during a case. And often this doesn't require the responding parties to take any steps at all. And so I'd mentioned a bit about decisions previously. If you go to the tribunal website and search for decisions, and you look at, you can also search for dismissal orders. And the dismissal, there's a whole bunch of different things. Either cases aren't within our jurisdiction. We feel that people are misusing the tribunal. We've had cases dismissed in both in all 3 stages due to improper purpose. And essentially, some of the things that we look at is, are the issues so minor it's not fair for the parties to have to go through things? If there's no reasonable prospect of success, or we don't have the legal power to make an application, or if the applicant is using the tribunal for an improper purpose. So for instance, if the application is approved on one thing, it's approved on a records case, and the parties are continually bringing up issues that are outside of our jurisdiction, we can deal with that. And we do have the ability to award costs against a party that's doing this. And finally, the tribunal does have the authority to restrict access to individuals if we determine that people have been using the tribunal for improper purposes on multiple occasions as well. So we do have, and we have at times also required people to sign an undertaking indicating that they won't misbehave or abuse people during the process as well. So we do have a fairly robust way of doing that. And for any time we're making these decisions, part of the requirement for the tribunal is that we explain our decisions. So our decisions and orders will show all the grounds and things in terms of how we've approached that.
Great. Thank you so much, Ian. Unfortunately, we are running out of time, so we have to move on. But a very big thank you to you and the ELT members for their insights and for the questions that they answered today. Also, a huge thank you to everybody who posted questions in the chat. Just as a reminder, we will try to get to all of your questions in an FAQ that we will post on our website next week. Please subscribe to our newsletter or follow us on social media so you can get notified when we post that. The input that you share with us today helps us a lot, and it helps us ensure that we can continue providing consumer protection for condo communities. So with that, we're going to conclude this portion of our annual meeting, though we're not quite done yet. For those of you who are signing off, thank you. But if you want to stay, you can listen to the members of the corporation portion of the meeting that's going to take place in just a couple of minutes. We're actually going to start in 12:12. If you're logging off, we're going to follow up with a survey for you so you can let us know if you enjoyed this meeting and what we could do better. So we'll be back at exactly 12:12. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you to all board members for turning cameras on. Allison, go ahead.
All right, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I'd like to bring this annual meeting of members of the Condominium Authority of Ontario to order, as specified by our bylaw. We are pleased to be joined by the public, many of whom are part of our condominium community and who have been invited to observe this portion of the annual meeting. By way of introductions, joining me today on screen are the members of the corporation, who are the Board of Directors of the Condominium Authority of Ontario. Samir Malik, our Vice Chairman, Richard Austin, our Corporate Secretary, Dennis Moir, our Treasurer, Vincenza Galatoni, Ray Kindiak, and Jeffrey Spiegelman, our newest member, who was recently appointed to the board by Minister Crawford and the Public Appointments Secretariat. Welcome and thank you. The meeting agenda and supporting documents will be kept by the secretary along with the minutes of this meeting, which will be approved at our next annual meeting next year. So with a quorum of members present, I now declare that the meeting is regularly called and properly constituted for the transaction of business. The business agenda was included in the materials distributed to the members and were made available to those who are observing today. Are there any questions from any of the members on the agenda? Please raise your hand if you do have a question. Seeing none, I move that the agenda for the 2025 annual members meeting be approved.
I second the motion.
All in favor of the motion, please signify approval by raising your hand. All right. There's nobody against or abstaining. Seeing none, the motion is carried. I will now hand the meeting over to Secretary Richard Austin for the approval of the minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning, members of the CAO and attendees from the condominium sector who are joining us today. The draft minutes of the last year's annual meeting, which took place on September 26, 2024, were shared with the members. Are there any comments with respect to the minutes? Seeing none, I move that the minutes of the annual meeting of the members for September 26, 2024 be approved.
I second the motion.
All in favor of the motion, please signify approval by raising your hand. Is anyone against or abstaining? Seeing none, the motion is carried. The members called a special meeting of members as required under the bylaw to vote on a change regarding the remuneration of directors of the board. Are there any questions from any of the members on the minutes of that meeting? Please raise your hand if you have a question. Seeing none, I move that the minutes of the special meeting of members for December 12, 2024 be approved.
I second the motion.
All in favor of the motion, please signify approval by raising your hand. Is anyone against or abstaining? Seeing none, the motion is carried. I will now hand the meeting over to Vincenza Galatone for the re-election of directors.
Thank you very much, Richard, and good morning, everyone. While there were no elected director vacancies to fill, the board did consider the renewal of the terms for two of the currently standing directors. Elected directors Alison Scanlon and Richard Austin are both standing for re-election in accordance with our bylaw and following the process undertaken by the board. I move that Alison Scanlon be re-elected as a director of the corporation for a one-year term concluding at CAO's 2026 annual meeting. I saw a raised hand up. Thank you very much for seconding the motion, Ray. All in favor of the motion, please signify approval by raising your hand. Is anyone against the motion or abstaining?
I am abstaining.
I signify, I see that Alison has abstained. The motion is carried. I now move that Richard Austin be re-elected as director of the corporation for a three-year term concluding at CAO's 2028 annual meeting.
Second the motion.
Thank you, Ray. All in favor of the motion, please signify approval by raising your hand. Is anyone against or abstaining?
I'm abstaining.
I note that Richard is abstaining from the motion. The motion is carried. I will now pass it over to our treasurer, Dennis Moore, to present the matter of the financial statement and the auditor's report for the fiscal year ending March 31st, 2024.
Thank you, Vincenza. I'm pleased to present the financial statements and the auditor's report for the CAO covering the period of April 1st, 2024 to March 31st, 2025. The financial records of the CAO were audited by the BDO Canada LLP, and audited draft financial statements were presented for review to the Audit and Risk Management Committee on June 19th. The auditor provided a clean opinion with no misstatements or errors. The board approved these audited statements on June 24th, 2025. Are there any questions for the members on the audited financial statements? And if so, please raise your hands. Seeing none, I move that the financial statements of the corporation for the fiscal year ending March 31st, 2025, together with the report of the corporation's auditor thereon, are accepted.
Second the motion.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your hand. Is anyone abstaining? I see none. The motion is carried. On the matter of appointing our auditors for the corporation for this coming year, I move that BDO Canada LLP be appointed auditors of the Condominium Authority of Ontario until the next annual meeting or until their successor is appointed, and that the remuneration be fixed by the directors accordingly.
Second the motion.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you. Hearing none abstaining, and everyone voting in favor, the motion is carried.
Thank you, Dennis. So that concludes the business set out for today's meeting. I move that this annual meeting be terminated.
I second the motion.
All in favor of the motion, please signify approval by raising your hand. Is anyone against or abstaining? Hearing none, the motion is carried. I declare this annual meeting of members concluded and terminated at 10:21 a.m. Thank you, everybody, for everyone who joined us today.